welcome to EQTV. I am Erin. I am an emotional intelligence coach, and I'm here to help you become the expert of you so you can live better, love better, and be better. Today, we are talking about how to know if somebody likes you. I wanted to create this video because I actually had this conversation recently. A gentleman reached out to me looking for assistance with processing a situation that he was going through. So he had been dating this young lady, I don't remember for how long, a couple of months, maybe like 1 to 2 months maybe. He had been dating this young lady for 2 months, and he was upset that it seemed like she was blowing him off, right? So they had made plans to see each other, and she said okay, but then when that day came, I think she didn't respond or something like that. They rescheduled, and then she had a reason as to why, it couldn't happen. And so, he was upset about that. And the conversation that we had, it turned into, a conversation about how to know whether or not somebody likes you, right? And so that's what I'm going to give you. Like, I'm going to give you 3 tips or 3 things that you should, I am going to give you 3 things that you should pay attention to, or that you should do when you are trying to determine whether or not somebody is interested in you. And I think that this is important, especially in today's dating climate, right? We have, unfortunately, in my opinion, gotten away from like that 90s R&B type of love where, it's going to last forever and all of that. I think we've gotten away from that. And now we are in a dating climate where everybody is scared to love. They want to love, but they're scared to kind of put their cards on the table. They're scared to open up, right? They want the other person to go above and beyond and jump through hoops to show them that, that they're serious and that they're interested before they even think about opening up, right? And so I think that the tips that I give you here today will kind of help with that, right? So if you are, one of those people that you have been hesitant to love again, you've probably been hurt in the past, right? And rightfully so, you are guarded. And so I think that these 3 things that I give you today will help you kind of evaluate or determine whether or not that person is interested in you, so that you know whether or not it's safe to open up. So the first thing that I think you should pay attention to determine whether or not the person you're interested in is interested in you is communication. Pay attention to communication and pay attention to who initiates communication. I think that both people should initiate communication, right? I don't think that there should only be one person, or the onus should be on one person to always reach out to the other person, right? And I found that men actually have a harder time with this than women. I think that's because men have come accustomed to, being the pursuers, or men have kind of adopted this idea that they have to chase women. And so even if you believe in gender roles where the man should be the pursuer, there is a huge difference between pursuing and chasing, right? Pursuing, you can be the first person to ask for the phone number. You can be the first person to, initiate communication after you exchange phone numbers. But I don't believe that, the man should be the only one that initiates communication now that we're a month or 2 into, getting to know each other, right? At that point, it becomes chasing. And after a certain age, that chasing stuff, that's dead, right? We only want to interact and engage with people that are interested in us and are going to give us the same energy back, right? So I get it. I get it. Women, wanting to be pursued, right? I do too. But at some point, ladies, we have to return the energy and we have to reciprocate so that he knows that we're interested and that we are looking forward to seeing him as well. So I think that you have to pay attention to who is initiating communication. right? Think about it. Think about the last time you liked somebody, right? When you like somebody, you think about them all day long. You can't wait to talk to them. Like, even if you're at work, you can send them a quick text, right? Even if you can't, pick up the phone and talk to them throughout the day. And that's fine. But, I don't think that the communication or initiating communication should be all on one person, right? Even the busiest of people, right? Like, I get it. Everybody's busy for the most part, especially like our generation, right? Like, I get it. I have 3 businesses and sometimes dating is difficult, right? But I found that usually when somebody is busy and they've been unavailable, for the most part, they will usually apologize for being busy, and propose an alternative. Hey, I saw that you called, but then they'll call back when they are available and apologize. Or, you wanted to go out on a certain day, they weren't available. The right thing to do is to, hey, I'm not available this day, but what about this day, right? So, the energy, you got to match somebody's energy, right? And so if somebody is not giving you the energy or making you feel as though they're interested or they never reach out, right? That's not a good sign, right? When you're interested, you reach out to people. So I think that communication is, the first thing that you should pay attention to determine whether or not the person is interested in you. Pay attention to communication, and then also who initiates that communication. I think that the second thing that you should pay attention to is the type of relationship each person is open to, right? And I think the easiest way to know the type of relationship somebody is open to is to ask. Ask them. In the beginning, I think it's appropriate to ask, what type of relationship are you open to? Right? And let people tell you whether or not they are just looking to have fun, which lets you know they're looking for something temporary, or whether or not they are open to a long-term relationship and looking for their forever person, right? This matters. Why? The type of relationship you are looking for is going to dictate your behavior and the energy that you put out. If I'm expecting friends with benefits, which means I really only want to hear from you or see you between the hours of 10 p.m. and 1 a.m. So I don't want to talk to you 12 o'clock on a Saturday, or I don't expect to see you at 12 o'clock on a Saturday. Versus if, you are looking for something that's forever, right? You're going to dedicate more energy. You're going to put more time into getting to know this person, right? So if you want something temporary, the communication might be more limited, right? So that's why it's important to understand the type of relationship each person is looking for, right? But just know, even if both of you are looking for a long-term relationship, it doesn't mean that it's going to be with that person. Does that make sense, right? If I'm open to a long-term relationship and so is he, right? We still have to get to know each other to figure out whether or not it's going to fit, right? That's what dating is all about. Getting to know each other, getting to know whether or not, we can do this long term. Are we compatible? Do we have fun together? Are we friends? Like, all of those things. And so dating is about getting to know each other and moving on as soon as you realize that, you can't do this long term. So just because you're open to the same type of relationship, it doesn't necessarily mean that, it will be that, but it will, for the most part, dictate the type of energy and the type of communication, the type of effort that each partner is going to put forth. So that's the second thing that I think that you should pay attention to. So this third thing is actually, I'm going a little old school, but I think that it still works. A oldie but a goodie. Talk on the phone. I know that texting is cool. Texting is what people do nowadays, but you can't get to know somebody via text, right? Personalities sometimes don't translate good via text. I know my personality doesn't translate great all the time via text, but had we been on the phone, somebody that was offended via text, they could see that I was joking and get to know my personality more. But talk to somebody on the phone, right? Pay attention to the things that they say, the things that they don't say, right? Pay attention to the chemistry that you guys have. Like, is it a one-word answer type of thing, or is the conversation flowing? I think that these are things that are important, an indication of whether, one, somebody's interested in you, and two, whether y'all have chemistry and whether y'all can do this long term. And men, I think that talking on the phone should be like your number one thing, because it could save you money in the long run. If you are on the phone and you realize that, hey, our core values don't align, or, she's giving me one word answers, or she sounds annoyed that I even called her, then, save the money and don't even ask her out on a date, right? So, talk on the phone. I think that it would save a lot of time. And honestly, men, I know me and a lot of women that I know, texting me to death is one of the quickest ways for us to lose interest, right? I want to talk to you on the phone, right? I want to, you can't get to know anybody via text. And I know that texting is the thing now, but talking to somebody on the phone is priceless. You can learn so much from somebody. So those are the three things that I think that you should pay attention to, or that you should do to figure out whether or not somebody is interested in you. So I want you to pay attention to the communication and who is initiating communication. It shouldn't just be one person. All right. I also want you to pay attention to the types of relationship that both people are open to, and then also talk on the phone. Now, I know that I just gave you 3 things to figure out, or to kind of assess whether or not somebody is interested in you. But let me tell you this. I don't think that should be your focus when you're getting to know somebody. Right? I get it. You're human. You're going to want to know, oh, I hope they like me and all of that. But I really think the focus should be on whether or not you like this person, whether or not you like them, and whether or not they are deserving of you. Right? You know how you want to feel in a relationship. And so it's important that you establish that expectation from the very beginning, right? If you don't want to be the only person reaching out, then you need to make sure that is established in the beginning, and don't be the only person that reaches out, right? When people have been talking for a while, it's very rare that somebody's going to flip a switch and be a completely different person now that y'all have been in 5-6 months, and now you guys have a conversation and you're official, right? That's not usually what happens. As feelings grow and intensify, they may do more of what they've been doing from the beginning, but it's rare that they're going to just switch up on you completely, right? They're going to keep doing what they've been doing. So you want to make sure that, this person is doing things from the very beginning to make you feel how you want to feel in a relationship. And this is when your emotional intelligence comes in. This is when your self-awareness comes in, right? This is when being the expert of you matters, right? You have to know exactly what it is that you want in a relationship and how you want to feel in a relationship. Not only do you have to know what you want in a relationship, you have to know signs and indications of those things, right? So for me, I'll give you an example. For me, emotional support is important in a relationship. And so in the beginning, when I'm getting to know somebody, I pay attention to, whether or not they truly care about how my day was, or is it just something that, they're just asking out of, I don't know, that they just always ask, right? Do they truly care about how my day was? Do they truly care, what I'm doing? Like, those types of things are important to me. So once you know exactly what it is that you want in a relationship, figure out how somebody can make you feel like that, or what somebody can do to make you feel secure in a relationship, right? You got to know your attachment style. If you don't know your attachment style is how you form relationships as an adult. And if you didn't know how you form relationships as an adult, it has a lot to do with your relationship with your parents in like the first few years of your life. So there's different attachment styles, and so you have to know your attachment style and your partner's attachment style. right? You have to know, those things that will make you feel secure. And so you just want to make sure that you are evaluating that person, not just do they like you, whether or not you really like them, right? Another thing that I shared, with the gentleman, and I've shared this with a lot of people, when people are looking for relationships, right? When they're looking for their forever person, I found that they skip over the friendship part and they want to go straight to the girlfriend treatment and they want to go straight to the boyfriend treatment, right? But I think we got to back up a little bit and we got to establish a friendship first, right? You've probably heard me say, oh, friends first, but no, that's real. Even though you are building a romantic relationship, the friendship should still be there first, right? And I think if we focus on building a friendship first, I think that it will help, because for the most part, I think people do a good job in building platonic friendships, or people do a better job at, break or cutting off people that they feel like aren't good friends, right? Keep that same energy for your relationships. Like, you got to be friends first. Like, if this is somebody that you want to be with long term, right, you have to make sure that you at least like this person first. And then the romantic stuff is easy, right? A romantic relationship is friendship with sex, with other obligations, right? So it's the same thing. I think the foundation has to be the same. So if you feel like you are the type of person that kind of rushes into things, right? Another thing that you need to do is come up with measures that will slow you down, right? What would really make you feel like this person deserves you? What would make you feel like this person truly likes you, right? And again, pay attention to the communication, whether y'all talk on the phone, all of that, right? Like, don't get so caught up in being in a relationship, right? Build a friendship first. And I think that if you work on building a friendship first, the romantics is easy, right? Like a whole lot easier. People just jump ahead into straight to the romantics, and it doesn't always work out like that for some people. I will say this: whatever measures that you come up with that are going to be specific to you, let me tell you what's not a good measure. Sex. You are not special. You are getting the same coochie every other guy got, right? Like, in the first couple of months, like, nobody is doing anything special. So that is not a good indication. Don't feel like you're special. I don't care if they say, oh, I don't usually do this. Don't believe them, right? So sex is not a good measure. I don't care if she lets you hit raw. I don't care, like, all of that. Like, it's usually, sex is just not a good indication, right? Women have sex for men, not necessarily because they like it all the time, right? Like, it happens. So I don't want you to use sex as a measure as to whether or not somebody is interested in you. Think of other things, right? I think if you come up with a list of indicators, I just gave you 3, come up with your own. If you come up with a list of things that will help you determine whether or not this person is interested, or whether or not you're interested in them, right? I think that will also help to minimize the pain that is, could possibly happen, right? Now, granted, there's nothing that you can do to avoid a heartache altogether, right? Scared money don't make no money. Like, you gotta go for it. Like, if you're going to love somebody, you gotta go with all your heart. Like, you can't hold back. That's not fair. So you just gotta go for it. And I think you just have to make sure that you have these measures in place. Even if you have to write them down in your journal and come back to them, like, whenever you meet a new guy, right? Until you are in a position where you're comfortable enough to kind of like remember them off the top of your head. Right. But do these things, implement these things, pay attention to these things when you are trying to figure out whether or not somebody is interested in you. If you found this content helpful, comment below and let me know. Let me know what type of measures that you have put in place, or that you're going to put in place to determine whether or not somebody is interested in you. If you found this helpful, I'm sure somebody else that will find this content helpful. Share this video so that they can also, have the tools and the tips needed so that they can determine if somebody likes them as well. And make sure that you both subscribe to my channel and turn the notifications on so you don't miss any of my future content. And I will talk to you all next week.